Hi, fellow Django developers. Azakaya here from Django.com, where we discuss interesting Django topics that help you grow, improve as a Django developer. If that sounds interesting, like, subscribe, share this video with anyone you feel will find this video important. Let's get into it. So, I'm very sorry for not uploading for like 2 weeks now. It's because I'm writing my exams, and like I'm not really through, right? Probably after this video, I'll not make any other video till like next week probably, right? So I just had like 2 or 3 days space in between another exam, so I decided to make this video real quick and apologize, right? Apologize to all of us, right? So in the last tutorial in our Django REST framework playlist, right, we discussed what Django REST framework is, right? Right here on this video, we discussed what Django REST framework is, right? So if you have not looked at it, you should go and check it out, right? So here we are going to look at how to create Django REST framework projects, right? And we are going to use a virtual environment. Obviously, in our last playlist, in our Django Absolute Beginner playlist, I did not use a virtual environment. Sorry guys, I did not use a virtual environment. Here we are going to look at how to create a Django REST framework project in a virtual environment, right? So real quick, first things first, we have to create a Django project. To create the virtual environment, we install the Django REST framework and we create a simple REST framework API right here, right? So you go to where you want to create the Django project. Obviously, you should know the drill by now. If you don't know how to create a Django project, go and check the tutorial. I'll leave a link to it in the description. It should be popping up on your screen. So look at how to create a Django project and start up with Django, right? So obviously, if you don't know how to create a Django project, if you are new to Django, this is not the first place for you. I think you should go and look at the Django Absolute Beginner playlist. After that playlist, you will be a Django, you will get up and running in Django, right? So I open my terminal here. This is where I want to have the project, right? So I come here, I come to the bar right here, I type CMD, I press enter, and it opens up the command line for me right here. So I create a Django project. You should know that to create a Django project, after installing Django on your device, you say Django admin start project. You give it the name of the project. Let's say Django Absolute Beginner REST framework tutorial. Obviously, your own will not be as long as this. So press enter. So after typing that, you wait for a couple minutes. Let me say 5, 7. It's not up to 5 minutes. Maybe let me say 2 minutes probably. So let's see what happens. 2 minutes probably, and your project should be on. Right. So it's taking a little bit of time. Taking a little bit of time. I'm very sorry guys. I'm very sorry for not uploading, right? I hope I'm forgiven already. So it's taking a little bit of time. Hopefully it does. If you go to it has scripted the project just for the command line to free up the process. Right? So it has created the project. We CMD into our, let's close this. We enter into the project folder. So I want to have it open. I want to open my Visual Studio Code here. So I come to my CMD also. I type code dot, right? So this will open Visual Studio Code to the current project, to the current folder, right? And the current folder is our Django REST framework folder, right? So hopefully, possibly why my system is slow is because I have like 2 IDEs running now: Visual Studio, and Rider, right? If you know about them, they are C# IDEs, right? For C# programming. Obviously, I've been working with C# a little bit, right? So and it's taking a little bit of time. It's not late right now, so hopefully it should be open. Visual Studio Code should be coming up by now, right? So okay, so it's on. So this is our project right here. This is our project with our terminal on. This is our terminal open to our project right here, right? So what we are going to do is that we will we'll create a virtual environment on this project folder, create a virtual environment, activate it, install Django and Django REST framework, write some code and spin up our project to see what comes out, right? So first of all, we create our virtual environment. We say python -m vmv, then the name of the virtual environment, let's call it vmv also. This will probably also take up to 2 minutes, right? 2 minutes hopefully, right? So right here you can see our virtual environment has been created. The vmv is the name of our virtual environment right here, so it has been created. So the next thing we have to do is obviously to install Django, right? Install Django, because Django is installed in our system, right? But if we install this virtual environment, activate this virtual environment, it will not be installed on the virtual environment, right? So we have to install Django and install Django REST framework, right? Obviously, after this virtual environment is activated, it's wasting a little bit of time, but hopefully also. So as we are waiting for this to continue, in the next tutorial we'll be looking at creating, like how we can create APIs with functional views, right? Django REST framework, obviously when you're using Django REST framework, you end up using more of class-based views, right? So but in the next tutorial we'll be looking at how to create APIs with functional based views, right, to get us up and running. Right, so our virtual environment has been created. So what I'll simply do is activate it to say vmv scripts activate, right? So this will activate our virtual environment. As you can see here, our virtual environment has been activated. So what we do now is that we pip install Django, right, and Django REST framework, right? So we install Django REST, we install Django, and we install Django REST framework, right? Fingers crossed. So you can see here it's collecting Django, it's downloading Django. It will collect, download, and install, run its processes and what have you, right? So because my system is lagging, I don't know why, because my system is lagging, I'll just stop the video for now. Then when this is through with installation, I'll on it, I'll continue with the tutorial, right? So I'll see you on the other side. So after some time, let me say 2 minutes barely, you can see here that Django has been installed. You can see right here Django 4.2 and Django REST framework, right? So both of them has been installed successfully. So because I want to make this project very much standard, right, as if we are preparing for deployment, right? So we will quick create our pip requirements.txt file, right? So what you say, we create pip requirements.txt file, then we take our project, installed projects we need for this project into the pip requirement.txt file, right? So we say pip freeze requirements.txt real quick, right? So this will create requirement.txt file for us here and dump all the packages we need for this project into the requirement.txt file right here, right? So you can see Django here, you can see Django REST framework. These ones are like obviously like dependency projects, right? The project dependency packages we need for other packages to, like Django and Django REST framework, to work correctly, right? So with that out of the way, we have created our virtual environment, activated it, installed Django and Django REST framework. What's the next step? We just test out our project, right? So we create a Django app. So let's say python manage.py, sorry for the notification, python manage.py, and obviously if you are spelling Python correctly, python manage.py start app. Then what should we name this app? Let's just name it base, right? Python manage.py base, right? So this is the name of our app, right? So you should create right here, you should see this folder right here, app folder, right? So we go to our settings.py file, we add Django REST framework to the settings.py file. We also add this app that we just created, right? So we open settings.py file, right? If we open settings.py file, we go to the installed apps. We'll go to, sorry, it should not be here. We'll go to our package settings.py, our project settings.py file. This is here. We'll go to installed applications right here. So we say we installed, you add Django REST framework here, right, which is the package you just installed. The Django REST framework we just installed, you need to add it here. After that, you add base, right? This base is this package that we just created, right? So in this base, we have views.py file. If you don't know about Django views.py file, go and look at Django tutorial, our Django Absolute Beginner playlist. It should be in the link in the description. I'll leave a link to it in the description. Let's continue. So what do you want to do now? We just want to create a very simple API, right, to test out our application, test out if everything is working successfully, right? So we say from REST framework response, right? We import response, and don't worry yourself if you don't understand this code right here. We'll look at it in the next, from the next tutorial. We'll start looking at these codes. And so we say decorators, we import API view, right? Then we create our view function. So we create our view. Let's call it test. We accept the request, right? So we say response, if you can call it that. This will be a dictionary. We say message. I will say everything is working. Obviously, I should have said hello world, but it's not original. So we say return, not a capital, return response, right? In this response, we'll pass in our response right here. We'll pass in our dictionary that we just created, response, right? So with this is a very simple API right here. Obviously, if you add this decorator API view, in this API view, say HTTP method names, which is the list, we add get, right? So if you don't understand this code right here, it's absolutely fine. It's absolutely okay. In the next video, from the next video, we'll be going in depth, and I promise you that you understand everything we are doing here and more, and very much more, with authentication, everything you need to know about Django REST framework. So if you don't understand this right here, I might probably leave this code in the description so that you can just copy it, create your project, copy it, and paste and test it out and what have you, right? So after creating this view, we'll go to our urls.py file. So in our urls.py file, we obviously import the test. To say from base.views, we import the test function, test, right? Then we come here, we say path, our home path should go to test, right? After that, we say name, let's just give the name and say test API, right? So if we simply start our project right here, we'll see unapplied migrations, right? And for Django to work correctly, we need to apply migrations, right? We need to run these migrations. If you don't know what migrations are, go and check out the tutorials. I can't really repeat myself that much. So Python manage.py migrate, right? So this will apply all our migrations for our project, right? So fingers crossed, this should be really quick. So after applying our migration, we now say Python manage.py run server, right? Which will obviously run our server. So our server is on, and you can see the red messages are gone. If you go back, refresh, fingers crossed, we should see this message right here. And you can see right here, we have message, everything is working, right? You can see, right, because we have decorated this function with this API view, right? That's why we are getting this UI right here, right? But if you check here, you can see our response right here, which is a dictionary, and this is our response, right? So this is how we create a very simple Django REST framework application, right? If you don't understand, you can rewatch the video, and I'll leave a source code. I'll leave this code, this test code, where is it? This test code right here. I'll leave it in the description so that you can copy it and test your application out right away. Then in the next tutorial, I'll be explaining everything about this function, right? We'll be creating another function and I'll be explaining everything about this function, right? After that, we might probably look at generic API views and class-based views and API views themselves, then into authentication, custom authentication in Django, etc. Right? So that's it for me today, guys. Like, subscribe, share this video with anyone if you find this video important, and take care of yourself. Peace.